Hi, my name is Ed. Like any other guy with a similar name, I don't get enough attention, especially from women. Not only do I have a short name, I myself am not tall, a head or two shorter than my classmates. Even the teachers at school sometimes don't notice me, and what can I say about the others? I was envious of the handsome boys at school, but even more envious of the one who had won everyone's curiosity, attention and heart. He was an unknown, secretive but super talented contemporary writer. He called himself Day. He had a special thing about writing poetry, sometimes songs or just music. Everybody knew he went to our school, but nobody really knew who he was. Day always wore a mask on the streamers, distorted his voice and photographed himself in a black sweatshirt up to his neck. That gave him even more intrigue. He said he made it himself and it was black, but with bright scarlet oriental glyphs painted on it. It looked spectacular. Only his lips were visible and his hair was covered by a black cap. All the girls talked about him, especially when he had a new post, a video on his channel. Everyone wanted to know who he was. I wanted to know too, and I still didn't understand why hide, because he has a cool talent, and why hide your face if you're already popular? Maybe he was ugly. Well, you have a lot of them at school. For example, I'm not handsome either, but if I could write something like he did, I would not hide my face. On the contrary. While I was ignored by all the students, I had a lot of free time and helped my father at work. He's a plumber. My dad would always take me out and pay me, and I'd save the money. One day he got a call from the neighbours. There was a flood in one of the adjoining houses. The neighbours couldn't open the door for a long time. No one answered them, and they were flooded. It took a long time for the rescue service to arrive, so they invited us in. Dad quickly opened the door. It turned out there was a burst pipe. We quickly did everything and fixed it. While my dad finished the job, I went around the house to see if I could find any contacts. The neighbours said their neighbour was new to the neighbourhood and they didn't know much about him, and there was no phone number. I went into his room and saw it, the same one as Day's. I thought maybe he was just one of his fans, and then I got a good look at the room, a tripod for filming, and a bunch of drafts and originals of his poems, songs. There was a guitar, gloves, and his black sweatshirt next to the table. With trembling hands, I took the legendary mask in my hands and in my head. Like frames from a movie, my dreams began to appear. My new fame, everyone would chase me. I tried it on and looked in the mirror. It made me gasp. "Hey son, what are you doing there?" my dad asked. I quickly took off the mask and turned to him. He asked for help with something. I put it back and we closed the house and went home. All the way home I thought about my new life and that maybe this was my chance. Maybe heaven had given me this house. Maybe I hadn't just been living like a loser all my life. "Oh shit!" "What?" "I forgot to leave my keys with a neighbour." "Oh, that's okay, I'll bring them in, give them to me." "Okay, thanks, we're almost home, I'm hungry." Of course, I made a duplicate of the keys, and only then took them to the neighbours. So a week went by like that. All that time there was talk at school about where Day was, why he wasn't showing up online. Then they started making up stories about him being stolen or dying and so on. But his room didn't look like he was dead. It felt like he'd gone somewhere. It felt that way to me anyway. While I was wondering where Day might be, Mila, the beautiful goddess, came up behind me. She came so close to me that it took my breath away. "Hello, Mila." "Move over, you're standing in the middle of the hallway, dumbass." Her boyfriend and his friends followed. Each slapped me on the back of the head, and the last one kicked me in the arse. I just flew into my classmate who had milk in her hands. It spilled out on me. Snap. Something inside me changed. Intuitively, I reached in my pocket for my keys, and after class I was already standing in Day's room, dressed in his clothes and with a mask on my face. On the computer, I freely logged on to all of his accounts and read dozens of messages. I immediately went live, slightly distorted my voice, and made up a story that wasn't there. The kids at the school got excited, and then they started asking me to read something new. It was good that I found some rough notes. After a couple of days, online activity picked up. I changed all the passwords so I could log in from my computer instead of running to his house every time. It gave me confidence in myself, this fame, even though it was someone else's. I took solace in the fact that Day was just an image, and who cared who wrote it? But then I couldn't get enough and went for desperate measures. I provoked Mila's boyfriend by spilling pomegranate juice on him, supposedly by accident. He punched me in the face, and I fell down in the middle of the big cafeteria at school. My mask fell out of my bag and everyone got quiet and then started whispering. Rocky came up to me and wondered, "So, that's you?" I stood up, shook myself off and said mysteriously, "Yeah, that's me," and everyone gasped. Someone started filming and then Mila came up. She said, "Prove it's you." I opened my phone and showed the login to my account, then pulled out my drafts and Mila suddenly hugged me and kissed me. There were tears in her eyes. "Your poems, they're right in my heart. Why did you keep quiet for so long?" In an instant I was surrounded by girls, and the most beautiful. They hugged me, touched me, felt me, smelled my hair. One even tried to kiss me. It was just the peak of my happiness. I stood there contentedly with my arms stretched wide open to hug everyone. At first I was greeted by my loyal fans, carrying food, a bag, giving massages, and constantly calling me to visit or to a cafe. After a week, Mila came up to me. Behind stood a crowd of girls. She handed me a piece of paper and was like, "Please write a poem about me." That's where I got confused. "What poem?" "You're funny. Well, about me, please, huh?" She kissed me on the cheek and I took the paper. I didn't think about that, I said to myself and left. I started frantically looking for the notes in Day's room to redo some of them for me, but it was all wrong. All wrong. I was freaking out a lot, and then I got on the internet, found a poem about girls and downloaded it, then put it on live and read it out like Mila had asked me to. I wrote it down on a piece of paper and fried it to her. Other girls followed, literally fighting for my attention, getting in line. Every day I found something and read it out, until one day when I was sitting at lunch on the soccer field with the girls, Rocky came up to me. "You're an imposter!" "Watch your mouth, Rocky, he's my future boyfriend. Are you jealous that I dumped you?" "Mila, I'm telling the truth." "Go ahead, tell him you're not." I timidly stood up from the grass and said, "Can you prove it?" "Tomorrow's the final soccer game. Ed's there as the chief guest. If you don't make it, I'm right." "Why wouldn't I be there?" "See you tomorrow then." I was shaking. I went home and stayed up all night. In the morning I was supposed to read another stolen verse in a mask and clothes stolen from Day, but to not show up was to give up. I read out the poem. The crowd roared with delight and Rocky came up to the other microphone. "I'm not against talent, but I am against plagiarism. Ed is an imposter." He almost got egged on. "Before you judge me, look here at the screen." He showed my handwriting and the handwriting of Day's recordings, then compared photos of me and Day in the others. You could see the difference in the figures, and he also gave me a guitar and asked me to play like Day. "My hands hurt and I'm sick. I think I'm going to go." I was just about to roll out when Rocky pulls a guy by the arm. "Meet Day. I found him." The excitement started and my nerves were cramping my stomach. Day came up to the microphone and told me that things had been stolen from the house. He also said that he had to leave urgently to visit his sick mother in another state, and when he arrived, he couldn't log into his account and couldn't find out who was speaking on his behalf, and all the eggs and tomatoes and drinks flew onto the stage at me. I was kicked out in shame. Mila slapped me in the face, and I turned back into just Ed. "What, you want a happy ending? I think it's a fair one. I stole someone else's life to get ahead at someone else's expense, and it was wrong of me to do that. So I'll accept my old hermit life with dignity and sign up for guitar lessons."
Hello everyone, my name is Sophia. I have always been told that I look a lot like one of the celebrities, more precisely, Ariana Grande. And I was told this every day, often confused, asked for an autograph, and one day I decided to play along with everyone a little, did the same hairstyle, makeup, and showed up to a party. Only I didn't think it would go so wrong. I was kidnapped. Do you want me to tell you what happened next? Then watch and listen. I didn't do anything special for my appearance. I grew up as I grew up, until one day, when we were at an amusement park with my parents, some girl suddenly ran up to me and asked me to give them an autograph and take a couple of pictures. I didn't understand what was going on at all. My parents stood on the sidelines in shock, and I silently signed, took pictures, and then one of them, the smallest one, said to me, "I've always dreamed of taking a photo with you, Ariana Grande. You're my favorite," and ran away. Then it dawned on me that I didn't look so much like her. I Googled a photo and realized that the similarity is still there. Since then, every time I left the house, it was a nightmare. I was not given a pass, asked questions, took pictures. I was angry when I came home and didn't know what to do. And then I called my friend. Well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? I can't go to the store normally. Everyone's staring. Wear glasses, a hood, caps. Are you serious right now? Even if I shaved my hair off, they would still take me for her. Then turn the situation around. How? Have you forgotten that it's Buck's party tonight? His folks bought him an apartment, and we're going. I definitely won't go there. There will be so many people. I don't want attention. Think big. Yes, speak directly already. Enjoy the popularity. Do you know how fun it is to be popular? Yes, her fans are ready to give her everything, but you refuse to do it. Just have fun and thank nature for giving you the opportunity to live like her. And then I thought, what if it's true? I sat down in front of the mirror, carefully studied the image of Ariana, and turned myself into her. I even had a similar dress in her style. We packed up and went to the party. As soon as I got out of the car, all eyes turned in my direction. And to be honest, my skin crawled. Voices from the crowd. Oh my God, is that her? Yes, it's definitely her. What's she doing here? Bucky, an old friend of Rita's, came up to me, speechless, unable to believe that such a star had come to his party. Hey, Bucky, shut your mouth and wipe your drool. Look who I brought you today. You're so gorgeous. I'm so happy. I can't believe it. Come on, come on. I just smiled silently, and everyone made way for us and watched us go. After a couple of minutes, a crowd lined up in front of me. Everyone took a photo, wanted an autograph, then began to ask questions. I was confused. Then Rita told everyone that I came here on the condition that I would not be harassed. Have fun as usual. I'm one of you today, I said, and everyone started applauding. They immediately turned on Grande songs, started dancing, apparently trying to please me. I just smiled and pretended that everything was as it should be. A couple of hours later, I was on Instagram and TikTok with all the guests. Then I was tired and decided to go outside to breathe. While I was sitting alone in silence, away from all the people, I heard a noise behind me. I didn't turn around and just said, "Please, no more photos. Let's just sit in silence." A voice I didn't recognize said, "As you wish." And then they abruptly covered my mouth with a hand and put a bag over my head. I didn't even have time to squeak. I was so scared. I resisted, tried to escape, but I was grabbed and taken to an unknown location. My heart was pounding and I wanted to go home. I was carried to some room, put on a chair, and the bag was removed from my head. The bright light blinded my eyes, and I didn't know what was going on. When my mouth was untied, I began to speak. "Please don't hurt me. What do you need? Who are you? Why was I brought here?" "It's all right, Ariana. Relax, just wait a bit. We'll tell you everything." "Please, mister, who are you? Let me go. I didn't do anything wrong." "I told you to wait. You will be punished for disobedience." My whole body was shaking with fear. I wanted to go home. I wanted to run away. And these people, I couldn't even see them. They just went back and forth, and that's it. After a while, one of them in a mask sat down opposite and began to speak. It turned out to be a woman. "Baby, it's okay. Just tell us who we can call to demand a ransom for you. We need $3 million. "What? I don't have that kind of money. Let me go. I'm not Ariana. My name is Sophia. I just look like her. My parents are ordinary people, and they're probably looking for me. We have no such money. Let me go and I won't say anything." "Huh. You mean you're an exact copy of Ariana? Then why are you dressed like her? Did you have a costume party? It doesn't look like it. Give me the number, otherwise things will get worse." Out of fear, I gave my mom's number. I didn't know what else to do. They called her in front of me, told her they had Ariana and were demanding a ransom, and my mom thought it was a prank and hung up. She didn't believe it. The bandits were surprised, accused me of giving the wrong number, and grabbed me by the hair. "Come on, number!" I gave her Rita's phone number. They called her and she understood everything, said that she would find the money now, and then asked to make sure that it was me, and they turned it on loudspeaker. Hello, are you all right? Yes, everything is fine, but they demand the money. Don't worry, Everything will be fine. The bandits gave them 2 hours to bring the money. For me, the time dragged on endlessly. I did not understand what was going to happen. The police could not be called. Rita does not know where I am, unless the bandits were guests from the party. I looked up and asked the woman, Mrs. Roster, Mr. Roster, you bought your son a fancy apartment. Which one? Did you say my name? No, we agreed. How the hell does she know us? Quiet, do you hear me? There was a soft knock on the door, and I heard Rita's voice saying that she had brought the money. These two began to panic. It was clear that they had not thought through everything. They were afraid. It helped me relax a little. The woman asked who was there, and Rita gave her name. But when they opened the door, Bucky, their son, was standing in front of them. Mom, Dad, what did you do? The woman took the mask off from her face, hugged her son, began to cry, and asked him to forgive her. She said that they didn't want to, but they bought his apartment on credit, and when they saw a celebrity at his party, they decided to make some easy money. I don't know what came over me, over us. Sorry, son, we didn't mean to. At this time, Rita came in quietly and untied me, and in a couple of seconds, the police appeared. The end of the story was logical. Bucky apologized to me for a long time, but I got off with just a fright. Rita, how did you know? When you went outside, I followed you out and saw you being shoved into Bucky's father's car. Only he has an inscription on all the glass, I love my family. I immediately understood everything and therefore did not panic. And then they called. I told Bucky everything, and he knew where they were hiding you. In their offices. Here we are. You saved my life, thank you. If it wasn't for my idea to dress you up, nothing would have happened, right? By the way, you better be yourself. This dress doesn't suit you. The story ended well, and I completely changed my image and even makeup to somehow differ from Ariana. This lesson was enough for me for the rest of my life. Tell me, did you guys like my story? Write your opinion about it in the comments below the video. Do not forget to put likes, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.